I love cheap tools, especially tools that I don't use all that often. But sometimes I see prices that are almost too low. Like I have concerns about the quality and if the thing's actually gonna work or not. I've got two of the most budget-friendly mini chainsaws available on Amazon. I'm gonna test them out. I'm gonna look at quality, features, and of course I'm gonna let them rip and cut up some wood. Links to both chainsaws can be found in the video description. If you want more information, I've always got you covered. Coming in at under $90 is this budget option from Alloy Man. You get the saw, a blow molded case, 2 batteries, gloves, an extra chain, safety glasses. What more could you want? Now right off the bat, I'm noticing that this case is possibly the thinnest piece of plastic I've ever encountered in my life. And you can see by the way that I'm flexing it that it's extremely light duty. It reminds me of when bottled water companies shifted to make their bottles using 30% less plastic and they turned out to be just like really super thin and sometimes they didn't really stand up all that good. It's kind of like that. Now the stickers that they use don't really seem to stick all that well either, and you can see in several areas it's kind of starting to pull up and bubble from the edges. It's not a big deal and it's purely cosmetic. Now if you thought $90 was easy on the wallet, check out this Saker chainsaw that rings in at $40. How is that even possible? With the Saker, you don't get as many bells and whistles. And it doesn't come in a case, it just comes in the box. But that's okay, because it's $40. You also only get 1 battery, so that's a huge cost savings right there. Both saws use 20-volt batteries that clip into the handles of the tools. But the Alloy Man has a power indicator on the battery itself to show you the state of charge. That's kind of a nice feature and a little bit rare at this lower price point. Both saws have a safety lock trigger that needs to be depressed before any cutting actually begins. And that's a good thing. The Alloy Man uses a pass-through design, meaning that the tool can be used by either a right-handed person or a left-handed person, and they will have access to the safety switch. The Saker safety switch can only be accessed from one side, so right-handed users will think it's fine, and left-handed users are kind of out of luck on this one. You can still use it with both hands, it's just clumsy and awkward to do it with the left hand. It's a major misstep in my opinion. Chain guards that flip up out of the way are standard on both saws, and that's great to see. They are flimsy, but I think they'll do their job, and hey, it's better than nothing. Comfort is key, and both of these saws have great grips that feel really good, and both are really lightweight, so they're easy to handle. Now, the Saker saw is much lighter, and that's mainly due to the size. It's a smaller saw, and it's got that compact 4-inch bar. It lends itself better to one-handed use, and it's a little more versatile. If you're climbing up a ladder with it or toting it around in your pocket, it's a little more manageable. The Alloy Man has a longer bar, and that means it can cut through thicker branches. It is heavier though, and it's a little trickier to operate one-handed. It's better with two-handed, one on the handle and the other kind of bearing down weight to help you get through those tougher cuts. Now, neither saw has lubrication built in like a big boy chainsaw does, but that's pretty common at this price point. I simply spray a little WD-40 on the chain before I get to cutting, and that's a simple solution to the lubrication issue. Now, the Alloy Man comes with this little tiny oil bottle, but there's nothing actually inside it. It's just an empty bottle for oil, but you don't get any oil. Kind of weird, but that's what they do. Now, when it comes to cutting, both of these bad boys rip pretty good. I've been overall impressed with how much I actually use these saws. Once you have them, you find all the reasons in the world to break it out and cut stuff up. Now, you might have noticed I'm wearing Milwaukee heated gear in this video, and I've got some other videos about how disappointed I've been with the overall heated gear lineup. If you're thinking about picking some up, I'd strongly recommend you click on the link and watch my video before you make a purchase. Now, on the thinner stuff I'm cutting through, you're probably thinking to yourself, couldn't you just use a hand, lopper thingy? Wouldn't that just be as good? And I would say, yeah, but what fun would that be? The real question comes when I start getting into the thicker stuff. And that's this. Do you really want to drag out the gas chainsaw for something like that? No! I've got a gang of these chainsaws, and ever since I started my weird little collection, it seems like I use my gas chainsaw less and less. I still have my steel Farm Boss. I keep it up on the shelf there, but I almost never use it. Now don't get me wrong, if a big tree comes down on my property, I'm definitely giving her a workout. But the compact electrics are just so easy to grab and go. I often find myself just using those instead. If a big branch comes down onto the lawn in a storm, the mini chainsaw has that branch cut up by the time the gas saw would even be started. Oh, and I'd be done with it before the neighbors even get up. Whereas with the gas saw, I wake the neighbors up. Now there's two things that I don't like about these saws after having used them for a little while. Both saws have a thermal cutoff that's built in to prevent the saws from overheating. That's a good thing. And it comes into play when doing extended cutting for longer periods of time. The Alloy Man seems to hit the cutoff way before the Saker does. I wish the Alloy Man had that built-in safety switch be a little bit more generous to allow for some longer cutting sessions. On this bigger branch right here, I was able to make 5 passes back to back, which is pretty good. But afterwards, the saw needed a cool down period because that motor was getting warm. The Saker takes a lot longer for that heat to build up to the point where it's actually hitting the safety cutoff. It's not a big deal, but the advantage goes to the Saker. The larger bar on the Alloy Man makes the saw more versatile, meaning that you can cut through thicker stuff with it, as opposed to the Saker that has a 4-inch bar. The Alloy Man's is twice as long. Now, since I have so many saws, I do like the lightweight and agility factor of the Saker saw. But if I were just to have one saw, the Alloy Man is a little bit better rounded, meaning it can do a lot more stuff because of that longer bar. That would be my choice. If you like this video, think about subscribing to the channel. I have more content like this coming soon. And check out some of my other chainsaw videos by clicking on the links right now.